With the rising popularity of the walkaway movement, Democrats are becoming more and more scared by the prospect of them losing the election because of a surge in minority support for Trump. It would be the ultimate embarrassment for a party that considers themselves the gatekeeper of the black and Hispanic communities. It makes sense then that the mainstream media, who are clearly at this point a propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, scramble every time a prominent black or Hispanic person announces any hint of support for Donald Trump. And as we all know, according to Joe Biden, the black community is a monolith, and where their fellow blacks go, they follow. This is the racist vision the left has of a community they pretend to be concerned about. But as we all know, the only thing they're concerned about is that they get back in line and vote like they're supposed to. Today, we're looking at the Democrats' contempt for the black and Hispanic people who dare not toe the line. This is Political, Election 2020. I'm Jan Smith, and as always, I'm joined by Connor Allen.
Hello, everyone.
We've been amazed by a lot of the support we've had. The number of subscribers has just been growing and growing. We really seem to have kicked into a new gear, and we're just really happy to be at this point at such an early stage. We didn't expect it. So, if you do enjoy the content, then we just really appreciate everyone who subs or likes the videos, and especially people who comment, whether they agree or disagree. We always reply to them. But honestly, the best thing you can do as well, really, is if you want to help us, if you want to support us, the best thing you can do is share the video on your social medias or wherever, and just help us get a message out and reach a wider audience. So, again, thanks everyone. Thanks so much for everyone that's been watching and supporting. So, let's jump into this one. So, just today, the rapper Lil Pump, you may know him for his song Gucci Gang. Great song, brilliant song.
Almost Shakespearean in its lyrics.
Yes, terrific song. And he is a true icon. 17 million followers on Instagram. He is of Hispanic origin. I believe his parents are from Cuba and Mexico. So, someone that should be clearly voting for the Democrats, as they say. So rapper Lil Wayne has endorsed Trump, as he said, "Fuck Sleepy Joe" in a video on his Instagram. The 20-year-old star shared the clip with his 17 million followers as he raged against Biden's tax plan, which would raise rates for the top earners.
Just 1 second, Jan. I think you said Lil Wayne instead of Lil Pump there. So just a bit of clarification.
Do you know what? There's so many rappers called Lil something, and I got confused. Sorry. Lil Pump shared a picture of himself photoshopped shaking the hand of the president, which is likes more than 500,000 times. This is brilliant. He wrote, "The day I met Trump 2020 summit." The Gucci Gang hitmaker also shared a short clip of his story of himself endorsing Trump as he hit out at Biden. I'm not going to repeat exactly what he said here, but you can go and see the video for yourself. So his main concern is Biden's tax plan. He plans to take the top federal tax rate from 37 to 39.6% and bump the corporate taxation rate from 21 to 28%. The wealthiest would experience an average percentage decrease in after-tax income of around 17.7%, according to forecasts. So he's not the first person that's come out in against Joe Biden's tax plan. We've seen it quite a lot. But I think really what the issue here and the point is, it's not really about the tax. It's about someone from one of the communities that the Democratic Party consider themselves the gatekeepers for coming out and not following, that narrative of Donald Trump is literally Hitler.
Oh, sure. This is, you say it's not about tax. It kind of is in a way, because these people, they've looked at the policies, they've analysed two candidates, and they've said, I'm against tax. Okay, I'm against higher taxes, and they're being told all sorts of awful things about it, that they're betraying their people, or that they're Uncle Tom's, or that their views are illegitimate. Your view on tax is illegitimate because of your race. Imagine being told that. It's ridiculous what the left are doing. It's absolutely disgusting, and it just betrays this kind of attitude that minorities owe the left their vote, and the left doesn't have to earn it in any degree, or they don't have to implement any real policies that benefit people of color. They just demand a vote, click their fingers, and they get it.
Yeah, exactly. And when I say it's not about tax, what I mean it could be on any issue. It could be on tax. It could be of any other policy that they dislike of Biden's or Trump's. The reality is that they're still going to go after them regardless, because they're just not hating on Trump, and which is what they want them to do, which is what they expect them to do. And this is just what's come out today with Lil Pump. I'm sure he won't be the last person who has a thought for themselves and considers which candidate might be best for them, and doesn't just vote because of they're told to based upon the color of their skin. We saw just last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week, 50 Cent coming out, not supporting Trump, but just saying that he doesn't like the tax rate that is proposed, again, by Joe Biden. So rapper 50 Cent apparently retracted his endorsement of Donald Trump, saying, "I never liked him." On Sunday, the rapper born Curtis Jackson posted a video of an interview on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon comedian Chelsea Handler, who used to date Jackson. Fallon and Handler discussed the rapper's endorsement of Trump, as Fallon noted that Handler has often called Jackson her favorite ex-boyfriend. He doesn't want to pay 62% of his taxes because he doesn't want to go from 50 cent to 20 cent, said Handler. "I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath," interesting use of interesting terminology, "of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook." The rapper tweeted the video, "Fuck Donald Trump, I never liked him. For all I know, he set me up and had my friend Angel Fernandez killed, but that's history, lol." So I guess similar sentiment, but here it's not a Hispanic, it's a black person this time, in this case 50 Cent. He also concerned about these extortionate tax rates that Joe Biden has proposed. But I think, again, the response here, he can't vote for Donald Trump because he's black. Apparently that's the rule now.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're black, you must vote in coalition with your race. You have to vote as your race predetermines. It's just ridiculous. It denies people of color the agency they have to make their own decision. It's such an arrogant attitude from people on the left, from these so-called progressives. It just displays an underlying racist assumption that they have the right to those votes. And in a way, if you mentioned Joe Biden's comments on the black community before, and this feeds into it as well. Implication is, if you support Trump as a person of color or a black person, you're essentially an Uncle Tom, which is a vile insult, as you well know, used to describe someone who's overly subservient to white people. I had to remind him he was a black person. It's crazy. It's just ridiculous how disgustingly racist people who are assumedly are anti-racist can be.
Yeah, and we often see this projection from the left all the time. I mean, we've seen it now with this Hunter Biden story, and basically it seems now all the things that Joe Biden and his son have been doing are the things that they've just been accusing Trump and his family of doing. And I think this is another case of projection, because we see probably the most racist people, some of the most racist people in America are those that claim to be anti-racists. And they don't realize it. I don't know if they realize it. But I think what's interesting again about this story is you see it all the time. As soon as this comes out, that someone has fallen out of line and they're not voting and saying things as they're supposed to, the media scrambles. They're like, "Oh, right, get him on the show. They'll get him on the radio. They'll get him in interviews. They'll get him whatever. Oh, right, take that back, just so that they can print the headline. Oh no, look, he's retracted his statement. He didn't mean that now." oh, it was just a mistake. Because that it comes down to how they think about these communities. They think if a black person comes out or a Hispanic person comes out and says, oh, I support Donald Trump, they're so racist. They think, oh, yeah, then all the other black people, they're just going to vote for Trump as well. And we can't have that because they're just influenced. What? But because someone with the same color of skin as them comes and says something that they automatically have to do it. That's how they think. That is honestly how they think. And I think, I mean, my favorite example of this, the way that the Democratic Party acts, is with Ice Cube, because he started a Contract with Black America campaign, which is about improving the lives of black people in America and the black communities. And the Republican Party reached out and invited him in and said, well, come and talk to us about that. This is something that you know about. We want to, add this as part of their Black Economic Empowerment Platinum Plan, which is quite a mouthful. Sounds like a credit card. But they said, they wanted to add that to their plan for what they want to do. It's basically, if you care about the black community, that's a good thing, is it not? That the current sitting president invited someone who has built this plan up for the black community, somebody that apparently, they think, knows what needs to be done and what needs to be changed. And they're castrating him for it, saying, well, what are you doing? You can't go and speak to Donald Trump. Like, even if it's because he wants to listen to what you have to say about what you want to do to help the black community. It just shows that if they really cared, about the livelihood of people, then they wouldn't be doing that. They would be encouraging it. Oh, great, brilliant! Look, Trump's coming and speaking to people like Ice Cube, but they're not. They're unhappy with it.
Yeah, he's created something designed to help black people, and the way that comes about is he talks to the people in power and gets the people in power on board. But when he does that, he's accused of selling out. It's ridiculous. And by the way, can I just say, it's not just black people or people of color who suffer this kind of abuse from the left whenever they come out and do something like this. If you look at the Amy Coney Barrett case, you see with women too. If you're not a real woman unless you're campaigning for the Democrats, you see the same with gay people. Almost half of gay men support Donald Trump, and this blew the left's mind. You see the outrage about that. How could they do this? He's a this, that, and the other. Utterly insane. I think.
Yeah, and I mean, it all stems from identity politics, essentially, which is that if you this racist idea that, obviously not just race, I mean prejudice, really, this prejudice idea that you have to be a certain way depending on certain characteristics about you, like whether you're gay or black or Hispanic or whatever, or trans. Like, if you are this particular way, then you must think this way. I mean, I've never heard, I mean, we all know this, shouldn't by now, and we've repeated it many times, but it's an incredibly racist, prejudiced viewpoint. It's absolutely insane. It is no different than, segregation. And this kind of, you see now signs in libraries saying this part of the library is for black people or for minorities, and this part is for white people. And apparently that they look at that and they think that's absolutely fine. It really blows my mind that we've actually got to this point and no one's, or a lot of the population hasn't seemed to notice what's happening. They're just absolutely fine with it. So listen, I think it's probably only a matter of time until Lil Pump is forced to backtrack on his statement. I'm sure they'll be scrambling as we speak now to get him on an interview on CNN or wherever, so he can formally denounce Donald Trump as the white supremacist that he is. And I'm sure that we'll be reporting on that when and if that does happen. But until then, thank you again very much for everyone that has been supporting us, and anyone that has been watching the video, enjoys our content. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.